The house is sold. My home is not my home anymore. We've also reached our final settlement agreement for the divorce.
I know what you did. You're a damn terrorist. All right, just get the hell out of here. I got a goddamn
I know that the last 6 months were really hard, but were really necessary. And that I did the right thing. I did all the right things.
Don't tell me you're innocent. Because it insults my intelligence.
So I'm getting a divorce. I'm scared a little bit. I'm scared a lot of it.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
The reason why I'm staying single is because of the overwhelming amount of misogyny I encounter
that's
with
us,
men.
boys.
Like, it's not funny or cute anymore. Like, I can't even tolerate it for a minute. And I don't know if things are different or I'm just more aware of it now, but I have zilch patience for somebody who tells me to lighten up when I'm out here actively having rights taken away.
So that's the misogyny. When men tell you, you know, the usual, why don't you smile more often? Really misogynistic, really patriarchal, guys. Well, if it was me, all these men will be taken to jail and executed shortly afterwards. Because telling a woman to smile and inciting smiles in women is just, it's just disgusting behavior, guys.
I mean, I'm so mad on a daily basis about so many things that are going on.
Oh, don't worry, that's how womanists live. They just live mad all the time. It's their only state of being.
And I feel like I just can't relate to men right now. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be a drag all the time, but I want somebody who gets it. I want to feel seen.
And that's her problem, guys. She wants to be a womanist and feminine at the same time, which are total opposites. Even the most ravaging womanist in the end is a woman, and she wants the attention she desires for a man to take care of her and to provide for her. She just cannot come to terms with it, and she cannot accept it. This is why they end up single, bitter, and alone. Because they just cannot accept their need of a man. And this is why all of them are so bitter. But talking about that, gentlemen, let's move on to today's video, which is about women regretting their consequences that come after divorce, which are the same they work in the same manner as the first woman we covered. They want both things at the same time, guys. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to get a divorce because they are modern and independent and they don't need no man, and the marriage was so bad. But at the same time, they feel bad about it. And by the way, before we get started, the caption of this video says, "The facts are that women initiate the overwhelming majority of divorces," which is true. You can check it on the internet from multiple sources, which are almost entirely no-fault divorces. Those are the facts. No-fault divorce means that there is not a specific reason for the divorce, as could be cheating or domestic abuse or something like this. No-fault divorce means that you don't have to specify the reason for your divorce. It could be anything. And of course, all no-fault divorces don't have a real reason behind them. This is why they classify them as no-fault divorces. But don't let me mansplain it to you. Let's listen from this woman.
You need to understand that a no-fault divorce does not mean that no fault was incurred. Oftentimes, women who've been abused or cheated on will go the no-fault route because they either don't have the financial ability due to financial abuse to go the full court route. It's a courtesy a lot of times if kids are involved, because the no-fault divorce is a lot easier to process, especially if it's the father of your children. It's true that women do initiate more divorces, but why? Why? Why do you think that is? Could it possibly be because they got into a relationship with someone who didn't uphold their end of the bargain?
No, I don't think so, because in lesbian couples, the divorce rates are the highest of them all. So it's women picking women, right? So you mean to tell me that in lesbian couples it's women that don't uphold their end of the bargain? I mean, guys, at this point we have to consider, if men don't keep their end of the bargain, but neither do women in these lesbian marriages, then what's the problem? You know, even in lesbian marriages, one turns out to be the victim. They both victimize themselves, of course, because they're women. But what's the takeaway here? I mean, I'm starting to think that these women just have this la la land illusion of what a marriage ought to be, and they get divorced for whatever bullcrap reason, right? I'm starting to think maybe that's the case, but leave me your thoughts.
Who wasn't a good partner. I'm not saying that every no-fault divorce is that scenario, and I'm not saying there aren't women out there who fall out of love and decide that divorce is the best option, but props to them, honestly, because you know the amount of men who decide that they've fallen out of love and just forget to tell their partner they don't get divorced, they just cheat. This argument is not what you think it is. I suggest you do a little bit more research into why so many women are realizing, oh, we don't need men. I don't have to put up with abuse or infidelity anymore. I don't have to. I don't even need.
I'm going to pause it right here. I will not neglect the fact that a lot of men do indeed cheat. A lot of men don't get divorced, but they cheat, or they fall out of love and they don't touch their woman, they don't look at her, they don't love her, they don't treat her right. Now that's almost exactly the equivalent of a divorce. All right, it's just that there is not a legal procedure about it, but the marriage is dead, and I'm not in favor of that. All right, I won't neglect the fact that that exists, but we're not talking about that though. All right, we're not talking about women cheating either. It's not that I'm protecting men or coping. No, we're just not talking about people, whether that be men or women, cheating. We're talking strictly about legal procedure, which is divorce. And then if you want to talk about people who don't get divorced but kill their marriage, yes, we could talk about that. But no, now we're talking about divorce. And when it comes to divorce, women are the ones who initiate it and men don't. Why do I say that? Because men have this attitude, men have this philosophy that if something doesn't work, they need to fix it, all right? This is the vast majority of men. The vast majority of men are not interested to get in a marriage only to then cheat. They don't gain anything from that. Most men, the average man, I'll say that way, wants to have a family, have a wife, have children, have a loving family. That's what they want. They're not interested in divorce. They're not interested in cheating. They're not interested in getting into a marriage so it can be a bedroom fun ridden, a marriage ridden of bedroom fun. They're not interested in that, and that is not what prevails. With women, however, as time passes by, it continues to increase the prevalence of this mentality that if anything is not perfectly fine, I'm going to exit the marriage and I'm going to trash this man's life.
A man to have a baby anymore. Doesn't mean I don't want a man in my life. It doesn't mean that I think all men are bad. But what you've done is you've taken your scenario and you've made some broad brush assumptions about all women that just aren't true. And if you're going to think that and you're going to feel sorry for yourself and be the victim, don't come on and play the victim on the page of a woman who's gotten cheated on and is in the middle of a divorce.
All right, this woman has gotten cheated on and she's in the middle of a divorce. Sorry for that. All my sympathy goes towards you. But when it comes to this man, first off, he's not victimizing himself. He's just stating the obvious. He's just stating the facts. You can see this for yourself on the internet from multiple sources. He's not playing victim. I love guys. I love it how women tell us to share our feelings and share our real thoughts. But the moment we do, they call us victims. No, I'm not being a victim, madam. But this is not a subjective opinion. This guy is stating objective matters. And you call him a victim? And then they'll go, guys, and they'll say, why don't men tell us their feelings? This is why. Because each and every one of you prove us wrong about sharing. We're not even talking about feelings. We're talking about objective statements now. But regardless of that, let's go back to the point. This man is not using a wide brush to put all women into the same bag. No, we're just talking about percentages here. All right? And forget about the percentages. Forget about the statistics of why women initiate divorces. Even anecdotally, there is a very good point to be made as to why you should not get married. And yes, anecdotally doesn't work when it comes to making points on the internet, points on my channel, but anecdotally does work in your personal life. Because a lot of guys are seeing their father getting absolutely trashed in the divorce courts. They're seeing their uncle getting his kids stolen away from him. They're seeing some old friend getting absolutely trashed. They're seeing this other one friend who lost 50% of his assets. They're seeing this other man going through a depression and losing his job because his wife decided to divorce him because he forgot the socks under the bed and some bullcrap like that, irreconcilable differences, the spark and all that. And this anecdotal argument is quite good because all men are seeing all around them men getting absolutely wasted because the courts are staggered against them, the society is staggered against them. Women are extremely picky and they don't know how to keep a marriage. They don't know how to work with a man. They're not understanding. They have more options and they just play the game like this, you know? So anecdotally, there's a point to be made. If you don't want it to be anecdotally, you have the statistics to back it up. Marriage is just not in a good place right now.
I truly believe you can't date, or you should not really date, if you're not financially stable. Anytime you go into something and you're not good on your own, whether it's even emotionally, but financially, it's like a girl. You get into a relationship with a guy, he moves in with you, you're not financially stable enough to leave him now because you need him to live with you so you can afford your rent, and then you're fucked, you know? You wouldn't have that problem if you were already settled on your own.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, dating a guy who's not financially stable, suddenly you can't go out. Like, don't get in a relationship if you can't afford to do basic activities.
This advice is so bad, it's so bullcrap, even in today's terms. My grandma, guys, and my grandpa, when they got engaged, they were extremely poor. Same with my grandmother. And I'm sure that in your family, you have a lot of, couples that were managed to make it work when they were poorer. And when the world wasn't so modern and so accessible and they had to work long hours, but they managed to do it, right? Especially the older generations. So whatever happened to love, whatever happened to wanting to be with another person so you can build your life instead of ramming the other person in when you have already everything settled, you know? Again, I mentioned this on yesterday's video. Women view men as a condiment. They have the whole table set, or the men set all the table rather, and they just want to add a man, you know? They just want to add this little part of their lives that they want to enjoy only for the benefits. And if they don't reap all the benefits or there is a single inconvenience, they just throw the whole thing out. Love is lost. Love is so out of the equation, has been increasingly so for so many years, that it's honestly disgusting. I don't want a financial business partner. I don't want a business contract binding me to another person. If men ever wanted something, it's love. Men don't want money out of women. They don't want anything out of women other than love, respect, loyalty, friendship, and yes, S3X are there to say. That's what men want. They don't want the whole table to be set. Men want to build with you. Or rather, they want to build. They just want you to be there. They want to share the happiness of going through life together. This woman wants to meet you at the finish line. They want you to have succeeded in everything in life and then, just get together for what? I don't know, sharing expenses. Like, what's the whole thing here? This is such a bad take. It's so poor. It's so bad. And interestingly enough, guys, people in the past didn't divorce as much when the situation was so much worse than it is today. And this one will tell you that it's because, you see, women didn't have the means to separate from their husbands. Yes, in a lot of the cases they didn't, but in most of the cases, the vast majority of the cases, they just didn't want to. All right, they just didn't want to leave their marriage and leave their children fatherless. They didn't want to do that. They had a different mindset, unlike you. All right, wearing that blonde wig on your head is not helping you with your brain activity. Try to use your brain and your head instead of just using it as a wig placeholder.
The house is sold. My home is not my home anymore.
All right, prepare the tissues, guys. This woman starts with the statement, "My house isn't mine anymore." Probably never was hers if it's not hers now. And the divorce settlement is agreed upon. All right, so this woman lost the house that was never hers. It was her husband's. She just couldn't rob him. So now she's clearly upset. Let's take a listen.
We've also reached our final settlement agreement for the divorce. all in one day. This is the part in the book where the main character finally sees those circles closing, closing the loops. But in all the books I've read, usually these moments are joyful. I don't feel any of that. 6 months ago today, I had no idea my world was about to change. I wish I could say that all okay now. All I can do is hope that another 6 months feels good. And I'll be able to look back and know that the last 6 months were really hard, but were really necessary. And that I did the right thing. I did all the right things.
Oh wow, I'm gonna pause it here. I'm gonna tear up, gentlemen. I'm getting emotional. I'm getting my soft 4,000-year-old heart really emotional right here. I think I'm trembling, ready to cry. This woman, guys, apparently didn't live the fairy tale that she thought she will. Neither in the marriage wasn't perfect, so she has been sold a lie. And then the divorce? What do you mean I'm not modern and independent? What do you mean I won't take my husband's house? What's happening here? And the alimony and all that. Wow, I feel so sad for you right now. These women, guys, there's so much propaganda telling them to divorce. If you don't feel alright, if the spark is not longer there, if you don't feel cherished at all times, just get a divorce, alright? There's no need to fix your marriage, just get a divorce. You'll get a bunch of, a package of benefits from the government, alright, straight from your ex-husband's wallet, and you can live your queen empowered life, sleeping around with men, with alimony to pay for the child's needs. You can take the child, you can take the house, you can take everything. It's such a good deal, honestly. And then this woman wasn't able to. A lot of women are able to do that. This woman wasn't, and now she's crying in her car alone with no money. Whoa, so sad. Wish you thought about that earlier, eh? Now these women, guys, they just their friends tell them, this is why you should never listen. If you're a female, if you're a man as well, never listen to advice from a woman that is single, because this is what they tell you. Oh, I got a divorce and I'm living so good now. I'm having S3X with the chat down the street. I'm just out here drinking my mojitos and whatever. Now life is so good after my divorce. And this woman was sold on that idea, but she couldn't get it. Wow, terrible, guys. She wasn't the main character in her own story. This is really sad.
I'm just being honest, because I don't even know why. I'm just tired.
For those of you not watching and doing something else, if you wonder why this woman takes 7 business days to utter reward, it's because she's crying and she's all dramatic about it. Now, she also has a caption down here that says, I'm not a baby mama, just a dog mama. Jeez. Guys, have you seen these? Women that have dogs and call themselves baby mamas, and then you learn that it's because they have a dog. Like, I'm sorry, but this is so cringe. This is so utterly cringe. Please stop. Having a dog doesn't mean that you're a mother, but much less a baby mama.
I don't know what to do next. I mean, I have options. I'm safe. I'm fine. This isn't a pity thing. I promise.
This isn't a pity thing, she says. She's sobbing uncontrollably in front of the camera. But she says, well, I'm fine. I have options and all that. Yeah, this is a privilege that men will never have. Men don't have options. Never. Like, yes, you could say that maybe the chats have options, but the chats have options because of their status, right? Because they are chads. If they stop to be chads, if they stop to be financially stable or to have game or to be so excellent in life, these women will left first thing in the morning. You know, guys, like, as a man, in order to have anything in life, you have to work, you have to suffer, you have to strive for it, you have to fight for it. All right, men don't get anything granted for free like these women that have options. They always have options, these women, guys. Regardless of what happens, they don't need to move their little finger. They just have options and people there to to take care of them for all their needs. It's a privilege that men will never have. I tell you, these women will not survive in a man's world.
I don't need to be rescued. You know, my family is close and they're here. I no more. Because I turned 34.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, a lot of women in their 50s still don't know any better, so you're ahead when it comes to that. There are women right now, they're in their 60s, they still don't know any better, alright? So hey, don't worry about it. You're just part of the vast majority of women that are absolutely lost, don't know how to pick a man, don't know how to keep a man, don't know how to work with a man, don't know how to make a family work and build a home out of house. So don't worry.
No! It can't be! No! No!
Nothing at all.